Yes, everybody, I'm back to paint again. Yes, I'm back to paint again. Mottling layers. Hi. So, the kit has just been baked a few minutes ago, and now I'm gonna show you guys how to model your kit. Modeling is something that gives certain undertones to a baby's flesh, especially for reborn doll kits, and it makes them look a bit more realistic. So, I have a handful of colors. I have this reddish color right here. It's a brownish red and it's a bit deep. And then I have a purple color, and we're gonna use those on the feet, the legs, the hands, the palms, of course, and especially the corners of the eyes, this purple. Now, there is one more light shade I need for modeling. However, I'm gonna need to dig into my bag of reborn paint goodies in order to find a color. So I think for this doll, I'm gonna need some light models. I'm gonna take some magenta 08 and Creole red 5 and see if I can use that to make something. So let's go ahead and start with the magenta. And as always, we're just going to take a little bit of paint and then dip it in here. And this is going to look a little faint at first. Yeah. So that's our magenta 08. Now we're going to take our Creole red 05. I wish there was a way to control. No, that's still just a tad bit too bright. Or is it? I don't know. I kind of like it right now. We'll take some of this Creole red, not too much, of course. Just a small itty bitty bit on the tip of your toothpick, and then you roll it out. And this with the magenta creates a nice pre-blush shade. I like to call it pre-blush. Sometimes I'll put a modeling color where the blush, I want some blush to be, as a way of layering on blush. So that's some Creole red. I think I'm going to balance it out with just a bit more magenta. There we go. That's a nice light pink purple shade. And I like it very, very much. Oopsie. I'm just trying to pick some up from there. There we go. So now that we've mixed that shade, let's get our other colors out. Let's start with this dark orangish red mottling color, a deep red. You rinse out this pipette over here in the water. And we're going to take, this is Dioxetine Purple 04, mixed I think with a little bit of magenta. But we're going to put it over here. I'm sure this is a mix of a couple of other colors. I just don't remember them off the top of my head. And I do apologize for that. So, here are our modeling colors. Normally, when I start with the modeling, I normally go from the darkest to lightest. And you do not bake each layer. At least, I prefer not to. I prefer to do one layer on each part of the kit, let it dry completely, and then move on to the next color. So, in order of application, we are doing purple, darker red, and a light pinkish purple. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to go ahead take this brush in order to handle some of the light detailing. We're going to go over that blue, and instead of stopping at the blue, we're going to take it over the lids. Ahead. Do I want a clean sponge or do I want to blend it? I think I'm just gonna take this little purple brush right here and just use that to blend. Make sure you get in the creases, of course. Another place that's good to place purple is the nose holes. It's good to start layering stuff like this now rather than later. This area here too, of course. The angel's kiss. Blend it, blend it. Yeah, you're not. Let's go ahead, apply just a little bit of purple here, not too much. Do some very light blending. The next place is behind the ears, especially. You do want to try and avoid the tips of the ears, but the backs of the ears in particular are really, really important to start layering it in on those now. Especially if you're expecting your doll to have a little bit of melanin, which this one will, even if she is on the lighter side. Good golly gee. Let's go ahead and start layering the ears, especially the inner part. Um, Brush that over. You don't want to quite get it all over the ear, especially the outer part, but the inner part and this little cusp right here, it's really good to apply that purple. And we're going to do the same over here. You don't want to pull it out too much. Something that I am going to go ahead and do is add some coloration to the inside of the mouth. Now, I'm not going to try and pull it out too far, because the truth is you don't want the inside of this to be completely too dark, but you don't want it to be a hollow of nothingness either. The key is to stopping right before the visible part of the lip. And the reason why is because we are going to have to start doing layering on the lips eventually. Not now, though. But yeah, the inside of the nose, the corner of the eyes, the eyelids, even the edges of the mouth here, the chin. Not exactly that part of the chin, but you know, the underside of the lip. Heck, why not? Let's go for the chin, too. Yeah, maybe we can use that, the pick on it, to pick it on up. Actually, this is a... There we go. So now that we've handled the detailing for this, now we can actually do the modeling layer. So modeling is achieved through several ways. This is a pre-cut sponge. And what you can do is that you can take tweezers and tear out just a little bit at a time. Whoa, that was quite a big amount. But yeah, you tweeze and tick until you get a pattern you so desire. Of course, this one was already done, so I'm kind of overdoing it at this point. But you know, I'm just showing you how it would work. And then that's how you create texture on the sponge. I'll wash my brushes. Now here comes the fun part. You are gonna find a brush. I'm trying to find a good one that won't pick up too much at a time. Screw it. I'll use this one. This one's a favorite of mine. You take a brush, you dip it in, you paint the sponge. You kind of just pat it on there. And when you feel as if you've picked up enough to your liking, here you go. You take the sponge and you stamp it all over the kit. Now, depending on how small the kit is, you can space out your models or you can bunch them closer together. And it's perfectly fine to stamp the ears. That adds some dimension. Now, because this is a bit of a bigger kit, I'm spacing out my models and making sure to rotate the sponge as you go. That's really important. So I am spacing out my models a bit because this is a bigger kit and the models are less closer together the older the baby is. So I'm gonna go ahead, get the cheeks. You do want to avoid you can do some on the lids, but you do want to avoid the lips in general. Because the lips, they don't really have visible models like that. And you know, they dry pretty fast, so if you're not sure if you've already stamped an area and you go over it, it's not the biggest end of the world. But this does help to add some dimension to the skin tone on the kit. In any case, I've just about run out of juice or paint on that particular sponge, so it's time to reload. And lock and loaded, baby, let's go. I'm also gonna go ahead and thin this out with some paint thinner. So if you would excuse me. There we are. I have a bottle, tiny nipple, but a fast stream. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and stamp the feet a bit. But before I do, I'm just gonna add a very fine little layer. Of purple. This further helps to add dimension and depth to the skin layers on the kit. And you can kind of spread this out a little more in comparison to your blue application. I'm gonna go as far as to apply it under the toes even. That's how far I'm going. And as always, pat excess dry. Now, I know you're not really supposed to overdo it on the purple, but I don't know. For this kit, I feel like it's fine. That's just, it's fun to go by intuition sometimes. And worst comes to worst, even if it's a bit much, you can neutralize it with some yellow. Okay, now let's go ahead and add some paint to the sponge. I'm picking up quite a bit. Honestly, I may need a bigger brush that will pick up a bit. It's just that if you apply too much, it gets runny, and that can be really, really tricky. So I am trying my best to be careful, but well, there we go. That's a little less tedious. Space out the models. For the kit, especially for the fingers and the limbs, you do want to avoid the fingertips. So, because I accidentally stamped the fingertips, I just took the corner of my sponge and cleaned that out, and that's fine. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. Always remember to rotate the sponge as you stamp. That's really crucial and important. Okay, this one's pretty stamped. And the thing is, because you're not really pressing too hard, this step goes by relatively quickly, thankfully. It does dry pretty fast, and that can help you with moving on to doing other layering with other paint layers. Gonna go ahead, take the other foot. Go ahead, do that purple wash. And pat off the excess. Let's see. I also fear it. And it's just weird. Nah, I just got shit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So considering. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know if I told you this, but I. Okay, so, jeez, I need to give this stuff some space. Oh, a new follower, a new follower. Hello, let's say hello to the new follower. Hello, new follower. Okay, so I have a new follower. Hello. Hi. Hi to the new follower. Apparently I got a new follower. So, hello. Hi. My name is Teresa, otherwise known as Claire10995, and I paint reborn dolls. I'm painting one right now, and so far we're done with the first step of our modeling layer. So, thank you for not subscribing, but thank you for following, and I hope you have a good time dropping in on the channel whenever you want to. Now let's get back to it. Whoopsie. Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and put away this color. My little dog, my little dog. What does doggy want? You need the potty? Oh dear, the dog needs to go out. Well, chat, I will be right back. My dog needs to go out. So, while I step out for a bit, I will go ahead and take Cleo out, and when we come back, I will show you some of my other sponges, particularly the ones I plan to use for this next modeling layer. Hopefully, I will be seeing you in 5 to 10 or even 15 minutes. See you around. We are back. I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, what are these? Well, in my bag of sponges, I have sea sponges. And these sea sponges help to provide certain textures that you couldn't get from, picking out a random sponge. I am going to see which one of these I actually want. I think out of all of them, I might do this one, but I am going to need to rinse it out. So let's rinse it out. Dip it into the water, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then what do? You wipe it clean. Yeah. There we go. And that's a bit cleaner. Now, is this brush clean? Hello. Now that the sponge is clean, we will take our second layer color and go ahead and just pat it onto the sponge. It seems like it dried up a bit. We need a little extra color. Mr. Jim. Okay, there we go. I think that's as good as we're gonna get for this. Oopsie. Alright, we soaked that sea sponge pretty darn well. Now we're gonna go ahead and take it and stamp it all over the kit. Don't forget to rotate your sponge as you stamp. In all honesty, this looks a little more orange than red, but I'm okay with that. Keep the creases light as you get closer to the face, avoiding the lips, as always. Don't be afraid to stamp the fronts and backs of your ears, however. There we go. I really like that. Using the edge of the sponge. The corners and the edges can make their own little dimension, and that's pretty cool too. Alright, so this has been stamped all over. Goodness gracious. So it's a little hard to see, but you're starting to see the buildup of those specific paint layers. And the veins are still under there. There we go. Now let's take a look at the legs and see if those are dry. For the most part, yeah, it's stamped on. Don't be afraid to apply pressure to get that extra paint out of them. Always avoid stamping the soles of the feet. The tops are fine, but even the sides, but don't overdo them. Always avoid the toy nails and the fingernails. Now, I will say for these next two layers, this one and the final light one, it's really, it doesn't take much time to stamp them, but it does take a while for them to dry. So we may have to sit here for just a bit. Ooh, let's reload. Excuse me. Cool. This one isn't quite dry yet. Let's stick it back. So, what do you guys like to paint for fun? When I'm not painting reborns, I like painting watercolor pictures. I think that's its own fair set of fun. Another thing I like to do for fun is crochet and knit. What I will say is that I did recently knit a shirt and some pants, a baptismal set. And I think in the near future, I want to knit and crochet some more baptismal sets. I think I'm sure they exist, more or less. And I want to try anyway. Now we've got our sponge loaded up. We're going to avoid the palms of the hands when it comes to modeling, the same way you would avoid soles of the feet. And of course, always make sure to avoid the fingernails. So, what do we do with the excess that we didn't use? We can try our best to squeeze it out and maybe get a drop or two out. And then we stamp off the excess. There we go. Now we put it back. What do I want to use for the lightest shade is the question. Oh, I like this one. This one always makes it look so spiky. I love this texture. It makes it look really dotted, freckled, and spiky. However, we do need to wait for this particular layer to dry. So, what do you all like to do for fun, artistically? Me, personally, when I'm not watercolor painting, I do crochet and knitting. I'm sure I've said that before, but I really, really do like it. That being said, I have done some things for charity. And I'm not sure if you all would be interested in that, but I can try pulling up some of my work in order to show you guys what I like to do. Now, let's see if we can make this work. Now, where do I go to show you this stuff? I think we should sign into iCloud. That's where we'll go. Allow. 203203. let's see if this works. Oh? Is it showing? There's only one way to find out, of course. Oop. Let's see if I can find pictures for you all to look at. I don't think it's showing. It's not. Uh-oh. You know what? Maybe I can take this as an opportunity to show you something else. There it is. There we go. So this is my Etsy page. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm seeing, but this is kind of how it looks. I do have a shop. I kind of wish it was possible for me to scroll down on this page. So yeah, this is it. Oop. That is my webpage, and you can go there if you would like to take a look at my listings, follow my shop, or even just check out if I have any new dolls on sale. I won't for a while because I'm working on sponsors, but that's okay. What else can I show you? What else do I have to share? What else do I have to share? That doesn't work. Okay, I think I know what I'll do. Image. Okay. Some past work. Let me see if I can find some of my past work. So before I used to make reborn dolls, I made crochet dolls. And there's one in particular I ended up having a photo shoot for. And it was based off of Quackity from Las Nevadas. His name was Alexander Romello Quackity. And he was one of my favorite crochet dolls to make. Okay, so this is what he looked like. Here, let me see if I can size him down a bit. So this is what he looked like, and basically these crochet dolls, these are the original angelic apparitions. They are pretty darn tall. They can be anywhere from 22 to 26 inches. And they're so big and so full of stuffing and love that you can literally put baby clothes on them. And this one in particular wore 0 to 3 months. Even 3 to 6 months clothing. And I know that for a fact because when I dressed him up for this photo shoot, I was able to change him into multiple outfits actually. There we go. Here's another one. This one was really funny because what I did is that I put together Monopoly money as a prop for the photo shoot and then rubber banded it to his hand. He had literal thumbs and I tucked his hand behind his shoulder. And this was the very first time I used eBay. I tried to auction him off. Unfortunately, I didn't fully understand the auctioning system. So somebody made an offer for him for $25 and I completely missed it, unfortunately. And that made me pretty darn sad. But it's okay. It was not a loss. I ended up shipping him to a charity in Georgia that helps immigrants. Let me see if I can pull it up because they're good people. Where? Nice group. Let me see if Georgia Latino Alliance for Human Rights. So I'm going to go ahead and share the website where I ended up sending him to. Paste. Alright, it's loading right now. Hopefully it pulls up. There we go. That's where he was donated. And in all honesty, it does make me happy to know that even though I wasn't able to auction him off and donate to a local LGBT org, that he was still able to go home to a nice place in my local community. And hopefully whoever received him ended up really liking him. At the very least, I hope they did. In any case, this is a really good organization in Georgia. I unironically remind you guys to check them out. They're really cool. I like the fact that he was able to go home there. So yeah, that's his home. I have several pictures from this photo shoot that I really like. Here's a nice close-up of his face. Ooh. There we go. That's a nice photo of his face. And the cool thing is when I crocheted him, I recreated the scar that he had, that technical blade gave him. That being said, I do want to share some other works. Let's see. There we go. I like this one. This is Skeppy Jr. He has a mohawk. And I made him as a present for Skeppy. I don't know if he ever got him. I'm pretty sure he did, but he had a panda onesie. And that book right there is The Strategy for the Liberation of Palestine by the PFLP. He had a cool pin, too, and a bunch of cool stuff for him and Leah, his assistant. That was fun. So let me see if I can find another photo. This one is really close to my heart. He's a prince. I believe his name is Matthias. And I made him for a friend that recently passed away, unfortunately. He passed away I believe, just last year. Bless his heart. But he had always wanted one of my works, and I don't know, Matthias made him happy. I wasn't expecting him, but he paid well. He paid as much as he could, and then he helped to cover the shipping for $30. And that was really sweet of him to do. So these are the original angelic apparitions. The ones that I crocheted by hand, dressed up, made accessories for, stuffed, and did photo shoots for. And this was what I did before I knew that reborn dolls existed. So you can probably imagine my surprise when I learned about reborns, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is adorable. Not only do people really like these dolls, but they're really cute. You can dress them up the same way that you can dress up the crochet dolls that I make. That's awesome. And I guess they had the added benefit as not being uncanny as my crochet dolls, because I love my crochet dolls and I still make them, but I do acknowledge the fact that to some people they can come off as a little uncanny, and that's fine. I like their uncanny factor. It's what gives them charm. But not everybody likes it uncanny, even if I do. And that's okay. Okay, so we're done with that. Oh, thank goodness. It looks like the head is done drying for the most part, and the arms and the limbs are almost done drying too. So let's go ahead and start the application process to this part of the sponge, the prickly part. I think I'm going to go ahead and bake on string. Now, because this is an original color that I literally just mixed, I'm going to do my due diligence and just... Oop. There we go. Power wash that a bit. Making sure we get all the paint. Pick some up from here. I wiped some of that excess paint that I used to mix it on that spot, and that's why I'm dabbing something in there. There we go. Now, this is very prickly, so it's pretty tricky, but that's okay. We're having fun here. You see how light that is in comparison to these other two colors? Yeah, that also helps to add a little bit of dimension. So, and look at that. Sometimes babies have milk dots and little spots and baby acne. So this can help to represent that sort of texturing on a baby. But I really do think that the dots are adorable. I've used these for freckles, or at least kind of as a way to help me figure out where I want to put my freckles. And I love them so much. I just love this sponge. Don't know what I'd do without it, really. don't know if you guys want to see some pictures of my first ever reborn doll. Because, I don't know, it's very special to me. And it's turned out surprisingly well for being my first. Okay, so we got that little light layering on the skin of this doll. That's pretty darn cool if I do say so myself. There we go, we spotted it. Oh, that's so pretty. Now the thing is, as it dries, it'll end up turning into like what looks like a clump of, heat set paint and thinning oil paint that are not thinning oil. But it's gonna dry up, and once it dries up and you look at it closely, you'll see the mottling layers and the depth that it adds. So it's really good to use different sponges, different colors. It adds texture, and it looks really, really cute. If you're a first timer and you're doing something like this, I wouldn't sweat overdoing it. Most people are pretty, well, I wouldn't say they're pretty forgiving, but in my experience, most people who hear about reborns for the first time ever are so wowed by the concept or the fact that you paint dolls, that they can be pretty forgiving. I feel like it's the more hardcore collectors or even the reborn doll artists who have collections that are a bit more up to par with their standards, and even they're pretty nice. So don't put too much pressure on yourself, and don't freak out about not being perfect. It's not worth that anxiety. It's a waste of your time. Don't do it. I think, as with all art, you have to have some room for forgiving yourself. And I think that's why it helps to alleviate a lot of anxiety and stress. When you're not really trying to work necessarily to impress anybody, or the first person you're trying to impress isn't some stranger but you, it just helps a lot. Not gonna worry about picking up too much of this paint. We still have the arms to take care of, by the way. Put that back just to keep it safe. Oh, that's a very light pink. I'm going to do that mix for the blush when I get back to it. Okay, so we're basically done with the modeling layers. However, before they can bake, they do need to dry. Okay. I think the best thing to do now is to clean the palette, of course, and to take this time to maybe start mixing skin tone colors. Because we still have our Flesh 06 right here. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the base. For most dolls, you want to start with the darker color. The darkest color. So, because this doll is going to have a little bit of melanin, this Flesh 05 looks a bit muddy, but I'll do Flesh 06 and Flesh 05. Oh, right, we still have to do the yellow wash. I can't believe I almost forgot about the yellow wash. Oh, but, you know, yellow warms up the final. But you know what? We'll take our Flesh 05 and Flesh 06 and put them to the side. What I really need to grab in order to pull this together is my burnt sienna. Either that or my yellow. Ochre. Yellow ochre. And it's not quite red. Raw sienna. So 5. Now we're only going to take a little bit of this yellow mix. This is a mix of Genesis yellow and another shade of yellow that's really bright. Bismuth yellow. So this right here is Genesis bismuth yellow, and this is Genesis yellow. And I'm pretty sure I have a little hint of dihydrolide yellow as well. This is more of a golden color. But yeah. Now, I'm going to go ahead and balance how bright this yellow is with a more warm yellow. And instead of using a toothpick, I'm just going to take the tip of a brush, dip it in there, and then rub it like this. And that's pretty darn effective too. So this is a bit of a deeper yellow. However, we don't want the kit to be ridiculously yellow because this is going to be a wash. So here's what we're going to do. We need to dilute this. Yeah. And it's quite a lot. But it is necessary to dilute this. And excuse me, that is going to be our yellow wash. Alright, I've prepared the yellow wash. We're not really going to apply this to the kit just yet because obviously we're going to need to bake it. But I am going to go ahead and load up the sponge simply because I can. And I want to. Okay, I squeezed it a bit. And then I'm going to run it over the sponge again. So it's loaded. I say the head is about ready to dry enough to bake. So let's get started with the baking process. degrees. On over to the oven. That right there is the oven, folks. As a matter of fact, here we go. There's our oven and my room. We're waiting for the oven to heat up. 175 degrees so far. I don't know if you guys would much rather have this camera off while I run the oven, but I think it's really cool to look at. Close to 250 degrees. It's time to turn on the fan, the bedside fan. The fan does help to make the paint dry a bit faster. Hurry! Set a timer for 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Counting down.
Okay, everybody. We're baking the head for 6 minutes.